So I'm backstage with the Proclaimers. You've just done the main stage here at Wychwood. How was it?
It was fantastic. Really enjoyed it. Great crowd. Glad there was no rain. Really enjoyed the set, and it's I think the second time we've played at the Wychwood Festival, and really enjoyed it when we did it before. But I think this was actually a better night. And really.
It's only our second weekend back after 18-month layoff, something like that. So it's good, you know. You get a couple of decent ones. We were in St Albans last night. That was great. So you get a couple of decent ones under your belt. It builds everybody's confidence when they've been not played together for a while.
You've had that long time off. Is it hard to adjust and get back into it?
It's hard. Sometimes the stages depend. If it's a small club, sometimes it's a bit of a nightmare. But that stage was so good today. The sound was so good. The monitor guy was so good that it makes it. It's just enjoyable when you do it like that. You're having fun, you know. So
we even had a marriage proposal tonight. We've got to say congratulations to Stuart and Carly.
Fantastic. Yeah. One of the most, well, definitely the most theatrical proposal I've seen. At the start of Let's Get Married, Stuart opened his arms on the other side of the barrier and sang to his beloved from our side of the barrier, and thank goodness she said yes. You know, it would have been it was a spectacular proposal. It would have been a spectacular rejection when it come. So I wish them all the very best.
Now you're playing all sorts of venues and festivals. Do you prefer, because obviously you've got the seated and you've got the standing up events, is it standing up more better for you?
It depends. I don't really think that I've got a preference. I think it's probably nice to have some standing at least, you know. But playing a festival or a club or a theatre doesn't really matter. If you get a good stage like that and a good audience.
Sometimes the problem is if people want to dance and they say sit down. Last night wasn't too bad in St Albans. People were allowed to do it, but a lot of times as soon as you get to stand up, they'll make you bloody sit down again. That's sometimes a bit of a vibe killer. But you didn't have that problem at a festival because everybody's standing.
You play plenty of festivals. I'd imagine T in the Park's one of your favourites. Got a favourite preference to where you play?
No, I'll be honest. We're doing T in the Park again this year. We're doing a tent, which we did a few. We're doing the tent, which we did a few years ago, and many years ago, in fact. And we're looking forward to that. And we're doing that on a Saturday night at 9 o'clock. But T in the Park, I think probably is about the best festival there is. But we're biased because we're Scots. But and that, as I say, that tonight was great, really enjoyable. And as you say, if you get a good stage, you get a good crowd. That's what that matters, you know.
It's a really nice time to talk to you because obviously you've got new music out. Just tell us more. What's because it's about a month ago, isn't it? The release.
Yeah, it's about a month.
Yeah, the new release. Yeah, that's about. The record is called "Let's Hear It for the Dogs." It's an album of 13 songs in it, 13, and we're very pleased with it. We recorded it just before Christmas last year with Dave Aringa, who's worked a lot with the Manic Street Preachers, and he's done the Who and stuff like that. And he's a rock producer, but we're certainly not a rock act, but we like the sound he got on his record with Roger Daltrey and Wilco Johnson. So we got him, and we did it with it live down in Rockfield in Wales with the guys, and really enjoyed it. Yeah.
How long did it take to write and produce it?
To write it took, let me think, about probably about 9 months to write it, and then maybe a bit longer. And then to actually do it, record it, was I think just under 2 weeks. We'd done a lot of pre-production work in Edinburgh before we went to Wales, so basically we got the arrangements right, we knew what everybody was playing, so we just capturing the performance. So we did that like that, and it was great, you know.
It does make a lot of references on Todd. There's a reference to a certain BBC scandal.
Yeah, there's a song called Then Again, which is about, it's not just about the BBC, it's about entertainers, it's about politicians and all the people who've been caught up in the scandals in the last 2 or 3 years. People who were once highly respected and had very, very powerful positions and used the position for, and in some cases, actual evil. So we're always looking for kind of different subject matter, and we knew other people wouldn't tackle that subject, so we did. I think it's a song I think we're very proud of, and I think it puts over at least a little bit of what we think about the last 2 or 3 years.
Fantastic. In terms of the tour, you're playing across the UK. Is there plans to take it further afield and international?
I think we're doing. I mean, this is going to go right up until just before Christmas. in the UK. So I think next year we'll definitely be looking to do North America, maybe Australasia, maybe some European stuff as well. So I think we'll work this record until probably late summer of next year, and I think probably most of it next year will be overseas.
The music business itself is such a hard industry to get into. Have you got any advice for those that are trying to make it and will get that break?
Well, I think the main thing is to do it because you want to do it. I think if you're trying to make it to be a star, we never did that. We always just wanted to play, and then guys like that, went out and just did it, like UB40 and that, and just that was that's what we wanted to do, just to play and do gigs. Never thought about having hit records or anything like that. I think you've got to do it for the right reason. I think you've got to stick to your own instincts, because sometimes people are apt to get changed away from something because somebody tells them they should do something. You've got to go with your own gut instinct about how you should present yourself and how you should play and what you should play, because that way you're going to do it more sincerely, I think.
And finally, just going back to the new stuff that's come out, what's the reception been like from your point of view?
It's been good. And it's the reviews have been favourable. It's sold pretty well, and we're meeting fans now at the gigs who've got the record, and they're very enthusiastic about it, so it's been good.
And finally, I got sent the press release actually, and there's many quotes, and there's a quote on there from David Tennant.
Yes.
Are there any other big celebrity fans of the Proclaimers?
I believe there are, but I always think it's a matter of the numbers that light you in the reasons why. Like David's been a good guy, Matt Lucas has been great.
Richard Curtis is a fan.
Richard Curtis,
Ben Elton's a fan.
Ben Elton. Yes, funnily enough, a lot of people in comedy seem to be. I don't know why there's a connection like that, but the comedy connection seems quite big. Yeah.
I mean, it might stem because obviously you did the comic relief thing with the 500 miles, didn't you?
I don't know. Maybe we appeal to people's funny bone. I suspect we do.
I mean, what was it like working with Peter Kay?
It was fantastic. I mean, he obviously had the idea. We saw him. We played a gig at Murrayfield and the G8 thing when we make poverty history, all that stuff. And he'd been there. He was comparing it, I think, and I think he saw the reaction. So maybe that gave him the idea of doing that song, and it was just why it ran beautifully, And he's, as Matt is, just as funny in real life as when you see the shows. They're good lads. So.